And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. In 1957, 5 trustees of the Skeena Hospital Improvement District personally purchased 20 acres of land on Hogland Avenue for $4,000 each. 4 years later, the Terracin District Hospital officially opened on March 4th, 1961. On today's Open Connection, we open our archives to bring you this story from 1989.
Hospitals in BC rely on funding from the provincial government along with the help of regional hospital boards. Still, most hospitals find it difficult to make ends meet. Up-to-date medical equipment is expensive, and often the hospital simply has to make do, hoping to convince one body or the other of its need for special equipment. The responsibility to fill that financial gap then falls back onto the community. And in some areas, hospital staff are counting their blessings due to the support that has emerged on the local level. Terrace's Mills Memorial Hospital is one of those fortunate enough to have a support system. About a year ago, a group of local citizens joined forces to form a hospital foundation named after a prominent Terrace doctor. Earlier this summer, the R.E.M. Lee Foundation held a special fundraising event to build up its coffers. The evening began with a roast of well-known local businessman Bill McRae, who remained good-natured throughout. McRae was also given special honors by the city of Terrace. Mayor Jack Telstra declared him a freeman of Terrace and presented him with a key to the city. Following the roast, the real money-making event took place. A professional auctioneer took the floor to auction items donated by Prime Minister Mulroney, Premier Van der Zalm, businessman Jim Pattison, as well as local residents. The fundraising effort got a healthy injection when a totem pole carved by members of the Kitsum Kalem Band went for $7,000, bringing the total raised to more than $30,000. As for the man the foundation was named after, Dr. Lee is understandably pleased the fundraising body has been formed.
It's a central fundraising association rather than having fundraising divided amongst a number of associations such as service clubs. I think it's very, very important to have this.
How do you feel about having the foundation named after you?
It's a super honor. Really, a great honor. Actually, I have been over-honored in this town.
Needless to say, the new administrator at Mills Memorial was pleased to learn the hospital has the support of the R.E.M. Lee Foundation.
Just excellent. There's so many hospitals that are just dying to get a foundation together, but they realize that even if they create a foundation, there has to be somebody out there that's beating the bushes, trying to raise the money, and that's where the work is. And it's just great to hear that Terrace has an active and apparently eager and enthusiastic foundation, and that they're actually raising money. It's great.
The hospital foundation will pay for equipment not provided by the Ministry of Health, and that's good news considering the price tag of items like this mammogram unit at about $100,000 or x-ray equipment somewhere in the $500,000 range. The R.E.M. Lee Foundation Board also intends to provide financial assistance to nurses and healthcare workers who want to upgrade their education.
The first priority set was to upgrade equipment in the operating room, particularly taking into consideration we've recently had a new surgeon, second surgeon, take up residence in Terrace and practice at Mills. We have also gone on record as saying that some funds will be set aside for upgrading nursing and healthcare worker education.
One of the objectives of the foundation is shared by Dr. Lee. He would like to see Mills become a regional base hospital.
This is something I really feel very, very strongly about, and that is that this area is not well served. Other areas of the province have a base hospital that has full facilities, such as Prince George or Kamloops or down the Okanagan, whereas this area doesn't have one, and the services tend to be split amongst the 3 or 4 major hospitals. And I think that reality has to take place, literally, And they were going to have a base hospital somewhere in the Pacific Northwest in which all the facilities are available to the people that live in this area.
To a very large degree at the present time, if there is a serious acute care medical problem that occurs pretty well anywhere from the Queen Charlottes in the west to the Hazeltons in the east, and from Cassiar in the north to Kitkatla in the south, the patient ends up at Mills Memorial Hospital. And we're of the view that, notwithstanding we live in the Pacific Northwest quarter of the province, that the residents of this area are entitled to an equal standard of treatment that the residents of the Lower Mainland are. And by raising funds, we believe that we can work towards providing that.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. The first waterproof diaper cover was invented in 1947 by Marion Donovan, a professional turned housewife who wanted to ensure children's clothing and bedding remained dry while they slept. In this segment, we'll learn more about disposable diapers, but first, let us return to the story of Mills Memorial Hospital.
Those involved with Mills Memorial say it is well staffed and well equipped for a hospital its size. However, it's the specialties that are lacking.
The most glaring example is the orthopedic surgeon. And the area does suffer for that. It means that people have to go outside this area all the time to get orthopedic treatment. In order to get an orthopedic surgeon here, we have to provide the equipment. There are plenty of patients, there's no trouble there. But even more important, the community has to be a community in which a doctor and his wife want to live in. And it's so important that the amenities in the community are improved steadily so you can attract people of that quality.
David Lane also believes that upgrading the hospital facilities will help to offset the problem Mills has in attracting needed healthcare professionals.
Very much so. It's somewhat of a chicken and egg situation in that if you don't have the facilities, you can't get the people. If you don't have the people, then funding through normal channels is not available. We hope that by providing incremental facilities or incremental capital items, which are not normally found, that we will be able to attract a higher level of medical expertise and support expertise at Mills.
So far, the R.E.M. Lee Foundation has purchased some ophthalmology equipment for the hospital, and with the help of the foundation, more capital expenditures like this will be possible.
Well, there's an enormous strain on the capital budget of any hospital, and we're always scrambling to find capital monies. So to have an independent third sort of organization out there raising money on your behalf, it just makes the difference between getting a piece of equipment or not getting a piece of equipment. Because lots of times the provincial government might say, sure, go out and buy that widget for $60,000 and get you the other 40% from the regional district. But then the regional district might say, well, no, we don't feel that's a priority. So there you've got part of the money in hand, and you're scrambling to find the rest. And with the foundation, then that's another body you can go to that's sympathetic to your needs and was usually very amenable to giving you the money.
The R.E.M. Lee Foundation is off to a good start with the success of its first major fundraising event. Those involved were more than pleased to see the community come forward and contribute $30,000 to the hospital fund. With that kind of generosity, the Hospital Foundation Board is optimistic it won't have any problem raising and maintaining its yearly goal of $250,000. And judging from the cost of outfitting a modern hospital, it appears there won't be any shortage of ideas on how that money can be spent.
There are piles of environmentally unfriendly, indestructible plastic garbage at the terrace dump, and you'd be surprised how much of that comes from disposable diapers. Every baby in Terrace wearing disposable diapers contributes 1.5 tons of soiled garbage to the site during the 2.5 years he's wearing diapers. That's a lot of material that could be eliminated, and environmentally conscious Northwest residents are trying to change. It's hard to believe that a 3-month-old baby could damage the environment. But parents cite everything from indestructible plastic to disease spread through improper disposal of soiled diapers as dangerous to the environment. It was these kinds of concerns that led Terrace parent Alma Joachim to try the latest in cloth diapers, the Indisposable. A satisfied customer, Joachim agreed to become one of 3 Northwest distributors for this BC-designed and manufactured product.
I started using the diapers when he was an infant, and when I was ready for the next size, they asked me if I would like to become a distributor. And I said, well, okay, so I got a discount on my diapers, and because I believed in them so much, as a satisfied customer myself, I became a distributor.
Besides what she saw as increased comfort for the baby and the obvious economic benefit of cloth over expensive disposable diapers, Alma Joachim liked the environmentally friendly aspect of these reusable diapers.
It is 100% natural, it is biodegradable, it's also recyclable, which is nice to know. It is the designer diaper of the 80s and the 90s, and it has a Velcro closing on it so that it's adjustable for babies from newborn up to the time they're trained. It has fitted waist and leg elastics to prevent leakage, and they're very soft and very comfortable for baby.
The Indisposable takes the cloth diaper into the realm of clothes. It's fitted at the leg and attached at the waist with Velcro. There's a separate cloth insert for heavy wetting, and the material itself is designed to be moisture absorbent, so there's little or no leaking.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. Traditionally, cloth diapers consisted of a folded square or rectangle of cloth fastened with safety pins. Let us return to the archives to discover some of the innovations to the modern cloth diaper.
It's a natural product, and it's similar to wool, but it doesn't have waterproof properties. It absorbs the moisture right down and evens it out as a wick action to keep the moisture away from the baby's bottom. So the moisture is actually drawn away from the cloth and into the center.
And what is that called?
This is actually rayon.
Because the diaper has no pins or tricky fasteners, anyone, even the most reticent father, can change a diaper.
Right on, that's right. Yeah.
Cloth diapers have probably been around as long as babies have, at least babies in cold climates. But today's parents would rather pay 5 times the price for the convenience of disposable diapers than spend hours washing, folding, and pinning the old square cloth. Alma Joachim says the beauty of the Indisposable is it combines the convenience of disposables with the cost of cloth.
You don't have to pin, you don't have to fold, you just throw them in the washer and dryer and they're ready to go again. The cotton square cloth are the most inexpensive to use, and probably about $20 would get you that for the diapering time of one child, but that is very inconvenient in that you have to double diaper for a lot of children and that type of thing, and there's a lot more leakage, so your costs are actually a bit more when you consider the cost of laundering their other clothes. With the disposable diapers, the average cost of disposables for the diapering period of a child, which we estimate about 2.5 years, and a lot of children are not trained by the time they're 2.5 years, to be about $2,200. So that's very expensive. With the Indisposable system, you would be saving at least $1,500 over the diapering time of one child.
Conservative estimates show parents will spend at least $2,200 per child on disposable diapers. Both the Indisposable and the traditional cloth square are a fraction of the price and can be used on more than one child. Skeena Health Unit Nursing Supervisor Kathy Ulrich says interest in various kinds of cloth diapers seems to be on the increase. She adds the change is due to economic and health reasons.
Disposable diapers have plastic linings on the outside. They also have chemicals and perfumes in them that affect some baby skin. Some babies are more sensitive to those products than others, and some will have problems with disposable diapers in terms of rashes. The other thing with disposable diapers is that disposable diapers tend to be more absorbent, and therefore parents will not always notice that the baby is wet and needs to be changed.
Ulrich says the problem with disposable diapers isn't just the amount of garbage they create, but the fact that parents don't follow the instructions and discard the soiled diaper without cleaning it first.
In terms of the environment, I think if we were talking to a mother about her choice of disposable versus cloth diapers, we would want them to bear in mind the fact that there's a lot of bulk of garbage in disposable diapers, and that should certainly be considered. As well, when you're throwing away a disposable diaper, you may be throwing away a dirty diaper and throwing away a potential source of bacteria and viruses, and you don't want to do that either. So they need to be rinsed just as cloth diapers need to be rinsed.
Although public health nurses do recommend disposable diapers for busy parents who want convenience, Alma Joachim disagrees. She says Northwest parents in particular who live alongside the pollution caused by pulp mills shouldn't expose their children to the potential hazard of a dioxin-treated diaper.
There's a lot of dangers associated with disposable diaper use. And that is, number one, the chemicals, the dioxins, because most of the diapers are made with bleached paper products, and dioxins are a byproduct of that. Dioxins are bioaccumulative, and they're very toxic to humans. Children and mothers are exposed to them a lot of other different ways, too. So disposable diapers is one main source of exposure. Also, the extra absorbent diapers, disposable diapers, have other chemicals in them that absorb the moisture from the baby, and some doctors feel that they may be absorbing moisture from the baby's skin as well, because they are super absorbent. And so there's even more exposure to chemicals, not to mention the actual roughness of the plastic and paper diapers.
However, as every parent knows, there is more to diapering than just the diaper. And like the old diaper, the old plastic pant has been reinvented. With the indisposable comes a Gore-Tex pant.
And they have the really nice, soft spandex leg and waist elastics, which don't cut into your baby's skin, and they're made of Gore-Tex, although we do have a waterproof one as well. The Gore-Tex one is breathable, which allows moisture to evaporate, and again is the best for your baby's bottom and comfort. They are a little more expensive than the plastic pants that you can buy downtown, but they will last for the diapering of the baby. They will outgrow them before the nylon pant wears out.
And again, that you wash that with no problem?
Well, you just hand wash these and hang them to dry, because they are the Gore-Tex that do have a special finish on. So.
Although the indisposable diaper has much to recommend it, it isn't for everyone. Parents will have to weigh their financial and free time priorities along with environmental concerns and then choose the most suitable product.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Deep and long-lasting learning involves understanding, relating ideas, and making connections between prior and new knowledge. In this final segment of Open Connection, we discover how a dream influenced learning.
The game board is a map of Canada. To play, questions are asked from the cards, which have 3 levels of difficulty. Players get points for correct answers. The start line is British Columbia, and the playing pieces are moved as points are accumulated across the provinces and back across the territories to the finish line in the Yukon. The game is rated for players from age 8 to adult. It's taken a couple of years to get this far, from the idea stage to the point of owning the patent for the game. The first part, the idea, was Helen Lawkins. She says it came to her in a dream, after being disturbed by hearing students say they found learning boring.
The game really started when I was working up at the school. It was a dream. I dreamt the main part is a map a couple weeks passed. I had phoned Kathy Raz on it and a few other people, and Kathy ended up at the house as the main partner.
Helen just phoned me and told me what she was thinking of, and I went over and we started with pieces of paper and worked out different designs and stuff and went from there, and it just continued on. Just never thought of not doing it.
So were you just curious or what?
Yeah, it sounded interesting because it was mainly for the school, you know, for the students, and I thought that would be a good idea rather than just, you know, to waste, or not waste time, but spend time with the game. They'll be learning too.
Well, what about the process itself of coming up with the questions? Maybe tell me about that, how you decided what would be good things to have in the game and what things you discarded.
Well, we didn't really decide what was good and what wasn't. We just randomly picked different subjects and such and tried to get a big variety on it and not too many, you know, in a certain small area.
What about resource material? How did you find what you needed?
Generally went to the libraries, the school libraries and the public libraries and magazines and almost anything we could find that had Canada in it.
Name 2 of the major political parties in Canada.
What about the technical process then, that going through the lawyers and the patent process? How did that go?
That went pretty good. We ran into a little bit of problem up here looking for a lawyer because there wasn't too many around that had dealt with games before, because you had to find somebody that knew what you were talking about. But once we, you know, did a lot of phone calls and everything else, and we finally found, you know, people that we needed, and we got people around too that would help us out and give us information, and, you know, it all kind of came together.
Did you have any problems in obtaining rights to use things, as Helen mentioned, the provincial emblems and things like that? Was any of that a headache?
It was just that it took so long for a lot of the answers to come through for us, you know, because we wanted it written. We had verbal, you know, okays by a lot of the provinces, but we wanted it written down so that we wouldn't run into any problems later on.
Now what? You have the game and you have the rights to it. What are you going to do now?
We will market it. We are looking into marketing, different market, to find out who will be the cheapest to market. Because we don't want to put this game out on the market where it's going to cost so much to buy. It's not fair to the people at home. It's not fair to the school system. There's a way of learning, and it's not the price of everything. That's how I feel.
So this is a game that you would like to see in school systems?
Very much so. I think it's really important.
And what sort of initial reaction have you had, I guess, from the kids as we saw them playing and from the powers that be in the school systems?
Oh, it's been fun just to watch them and learning. Yeah, they have to watch and even challenge the teachers is something else. It was really interesting.
What about from the schools? Has there been interest in getting something like this into the schools?
Oh, yes. I was told once a game was built, the school system will buy.
What is the coldest city in Canada? The what? Oldest? Coldest? Yeah.
What would you like to see now? You've got rights to the game and you can go about marketing it in whatever means you choose. So what would you like to see for the game, or where would you like it to be, say, in 2 years from now?
In 2 years, well, in a year from now, a year from this Christmas, I'd like to see it on the shelves in the stores and possibly in the school system by then, and hopefully in 2 years in the school systems.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind to his heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.